Chosen one, you just pushed someone into admitting, at least to themselves, that you're a spiritual mastermind, and they absolutely hate this for you. They'd never say it out loud, never give you the satisfaction, but the truth cracked through their denial, and now they're obsessed. Your presence, your decisions, your growth, they study it all while pretending not to care. Their hatred is just confirmation of your mastery. This isn't casual observation, this is obsessive monitoring. Someone has been tracking your patterns like a researcher studying their subject. When you post, what you say, how you say it, who engages with your content, what gets the most response, your entire digital presence has been under surveillance, and you've felt it, you've sensed that strange attention, that uncomfortable awareness of being watched in a way that doesn't feel supportive. Maybe you couldn't name it before, maybe you dismissed it as paranoia, but your intuition was accurate. Someone has been watching with an energy that carries weight, an energy that carries intention, an energy that carries jealousy. This person takes a peculiar satisfaction in your struggles. When you stumble over words in a video, when you post something and later remove it, when you take breaks from showing up, when chaos enters your visible life, these moments bring them strange relief. Your temporary difficulties give them momentary comfort. Your visible imperfections make them feel better about their own hidden failures. Your struggles weren't signs of weakness. Your struggles were spiritual training. Every time you messed up publicly and recovered, you built resilience. Every time you made a mistake and learned from it, you gained wisdom. Every time you faced chaos and found your center, you strengthened your foundation. While this person was celebrating your temporary setbacks, you were actually leveling up internally. You were developing the exact skills you needed for what's coming next. Your observer thought watching you struggle meant watching you fail. But observation without understanding is just surveillance without insight. Someone can watch you constantly and still completely misunderstand your journey. Someone can monitor your every move and still miss the actual transformation happening beneath the surface. Your external struggles were never the full story. Your visible challenges were never your complete reality. You were being forged in fire while they were counting your burns. There's a game being played that you didn't consent to join. Someone decided to make you their competition without your knowledge or agreement. In their mind, your success diminishes their value. Your progress threatens their position. Your light exposes their darkness. So an invisible chess match began. Moves were planned, strategies were crafted, traps were designed, all while you were just living your life and following your purpose. This person has been trying to predict your next step, analyzing your patterns to figure out where you're going, studying your content to understand your thinking, watching your engagement to identify your opportunities. Why? Because knowledge is power in their mind. If someone can predict your moves, perhaps that person can block your path. If someone can understand your strategy, perhaps interference becomes possible, but something massive is approaching your life, an opportunity that changes everything, a door that opens to a completely different level, a blessing that shifts your entire trajectory. And your observer can sense this shift in the spiritual atmosphere. The energy around you has changed. The momentum building in your favor has become palpable. Something significant is about to manifest, and this terrifies your watcher. This approaching opportunity isn't small. It's not incremental growth or minor advancement. This is revolutionary transformation, life-altering change, reality-shifting manifestation, the kind of blessing that people wait lifetimes to receive, the kind of door that opens once and changes everything that comes after, the kind of elevation that separates your before from your after so dramatically that they become two different existences. Your observer senses this because energy doesn't lie. Spiritual shifts can be felt by anyone paying attention. The atmosphere around your life has been changing, building, intensifying, preparing for something major, and anyone watching closely enough can feel that preparation, can sense that anticipation, can perceive that imminent breakthrough, And it's that perception that's driving your observer to desperate measures. Because when you step through this next door, the distance between your realities becomes undeniable. When you claim this approaching opportunity, comparison becomes absurd. When you rise to this next level, their opposition becomes irrelevant. The gap won't just widen. The gap will become a chasm, an ocean, a completely different dimension of existence. So strategies intensified. Plans became more elaborate. Interference attempts became more frequent. But here's the beautiful truth. Every strategy is crumbling. Every plan is backfiring. Every trap is springing on the person who set it. Why? Because you're protected by something beyond human understanding. You're guided by intelligence beyond earthly wisdom. You're covered by forces that operate beyond physical limitations. Your observer has been playing checkers while you've been guided through multidimensional chess. Right now, as you exist in this moment, there are two opportunities moving toward your life, two proposals, two offers, two possibilities. One carries truth, one carries deception. One aligns with your purpose, one disguises a trap, and your spiritual mastery is about to be tested in real time. Your discernment needs to function at peak capacity. Your intuition must speak louder than external pressure. The deceptive opportunity will arrive dressed in everything you've been wanting: shiny packaging, attractive promises, material success, public recognition, financial abundance, status elevation, all wrapped in urgency and pressure. And timing won't be accidental. This false door will appear precisely when external pressures might cloud your judgment, when bills create stress, when obligations demand attention, when circumstances might push you toward hasty decisions. This is strategic manipulation, not coincidence. Your observer knows your vulnerable points, understands your pressure areas, recognizes when circumstances might push you toward desperate choices. The false opportunity is designed specifically to trap you in something that drains your energy, something that distracts you from genuine purpose, something that derails you exactly when breakthrough approaches. If this message activated your knowing, hype this video to connect with more chosen ones on this journey. The false opportunity probably connects to the same energy that's been watching you, not obviously, not directly, but their influence touches it, their agenda shapes it, their jealousy pollutes it. If you accept this counterfeit, you'll be signing away momentum, trading destiny for distraction, choosing comfort over calling, but you won't take it. You want to know why? Because you're a spiritual mastermind. Your intuition will scream warnings. Your gut will reject what looks appealing. Your spirit will recognize the wrongness beneath the attractive surface. And you'll trust that internal guidance even when external circumstances try to pressure you otherwise. The genuine opportunity carries different energy entirely. It might not arrive with flash and spectacle. It might not promise instant gratification. It might not look as immediately attractive on the surface, but something deep inside you will recognize it. Your soul will resonate with its frequency. Your spirit will confirm its alignment. Your purpose will recognize its fit. The genuine opportunity will require substantial effort, real work, daily commitment, consistent dedication. No shortcuts, no hacks, no overnight transformation, just authentic growth toward authentic achievement. And this requirement of effort is actually your confirmation. Real blessings demand that you rise to meet them. Divine opportunities require that you expand to hold them. Purpose-aligned doors insist that you grow to walk through them. You'll recognize the genuine opportunity by how it makes you feel, not just excited, not just eager, but spiritually aligned, purposefully resonant, deeply certain, even if mentally uncertain. Your body might feel nervous, but your spirit will feel calm. Your mind might question, but your soul will know. This is the difference between anxiety and anticipation, between fear and readiness, between pressure and peace. Learning to distinguish between these two opportunities is part of your spiritual mastery. Anyone can recognize obvious evil, anyone can reject blatant danger, but it takes true discernment to tell the difference between two opportunities that both look positive on the surface. It takes spiritual maturity to choose the harder right over the easier wrong. It takes divine connection to select purpose over comfort. Your observer is counting on you not having this level of discernment, banking on you being dazzled by surface appeal, hoping pressure will override wisdom, expecting desperation to cloud judgment. But spiritual masterminds don't make decisions from external pressure. Spiritual masterminds don't choose from surface appearances. Spiritual masterminds don't select based on immediate gratification. You make decisions from internal alignment. You choose from spiritual confirmation. You select based on purpose resonance. You're not navigating this alone. There's a specific presence accompanying your journey. Ancient, powerful, fiercely protective, completely devoted to your success. This spiritual guide has been with you through everything, showing you signs, creating synchronicities, generating gut feelings about people and situations, maneuvering you around dangers you never saw coming. When meetings fell through at the last moment, when contracts didn't materialize despite seeming certain, when connections dissolved before forming, when opportunities evaporated before manifesting, these weren't failures, these were protections. Your guide was redirecting your path, closing doors that would have harmed you, preventing agreements that would have trapped you, saving you from yourself. When temptation looked like a blessing, your observer cannot perceive this guide, cannot access this level of spiritual protection, cannot comprehend this dimension of divine support. Someone operating from jealousy and limitation functions on a completely different frequency, a lower vibration, a darker energy field, and that's why their plans keep failing despite careful construction. That's why their traps remain empty despite strategic placement. That's why their interference accomplishes nothing despite persistent effort. Your spiritual senses are currently upgrading, intuition sharpening, discernment clarifying, inner knowing expanding. You might experience physical symptoms during this upgrade. Pressure in your head, sinus congestion, vivid dreams, heightened sensitivity to energy, emotional intensity, physical exhaustion despite adequate rest. These aren't random discomforts. These are signs that your spiritual perception is evolving. Your ability to see beyond the physical realm is increasing. Your capacity to sense truth beneath appearance is strengthening. The person working against you has been attempting to block these upgrades, sending negative energy to cloud your vision, projecting confusion to muddy your clarity, directing jealousy to interfere with your connection. But their attacks bounce off your protection. Their interference gets redirected. Their negative energy circles back to its source. And instead of blocking your development, their opposition actually accelerates your growth. Every spiritual attack you overcome builds strength. Every energetic assault you survive increases capacity. Every attempt to dim your light actually makes it burn brighter. This is spiritual warfare, not metaphorical conflict, not exaggerated drama, actual opposition functioning in the energetic realm. Someone actively working against you through focus and intention. Jealousy functioning as attack energy, obsessive attention operating as a draining force, negative thoughts about you flying like arrows toward your spirit. But you're winning this war without even fighting. You're dominating this battle without engaging in combat. You're conquering this opposition through frequency elevation rather than direct confrontation. Real spiritual protection functions both defensively and offensively. When you're truly covered, negative energy doesn't just stop at your boundary. It returns to its sender. Curses boomerang back to origin. Traps spring on their creators. Hexes reverse their direction. This is spiritual law, cosmic justice, divine mathematics. What goes around comes around. What you send out returns to you. And the person working against you is about to experience this principle in devastating fullness, reaping consequences of actions, harvesting planted seeds, receiving back what was sent out. Their own negative energy will consume them, their own jealousy will poison them, their own hatred will destroy them internally. But you don't need to make this happen. You don't need to curse back. You don't need to send negative energy in return. You don't need to wish them harm or plot revenge. The universe handles justice automatically. Karma functions whether you believe in it or not. Divine retribution operates beyond human involvement. Your responsibility is not fighting. Your job is rising. Your focus is elevating. Their consequence is their own business. This person attempting to work against you might practice certain spiritual manipulations, using techniques to try binding your success, performing rituals designed to block your blessings, engaging practices meant to drain your energy. But here's the fundamental truth. Light always overcomes darkness. Truth always defeats deception. Love always conquers hate. Divine protection always trumps human attack. It's not even a fair fight. Your shield is impenetrable to their weapons. Your frequency is unreachable by their vibration. Your dimension is inaccessible to their consciousness. Every failed attack makes your observer more desperate. Every bounced curse creates more frustration. Every unsuccessful hex generates more confusion. Nothing works because nothing can work. You're operating in a realm of protection that their consciousness can't access. You're moving with guidance that their awareness can't perceive. You're covered by power that their understanding can't comprehend. And this incomprehensible reality is what finally forced their internal acknowledgement. This observer carries deep wounds around rejection. Whether you actually rejected them or circumstances created that perception doesn't matter to their internal narrative. In their mind, you dismissed them, overlooked them, chose something or someone else over them, and that perceived rejection has festered into resentment. That resentment has fermented into jealousy. That jealousy has hardened into active opposition. Someone operating from this rejection wound makes you responsible for their pain, makes your success the reason for their failure, makes your happiness the cause of their misery. But here's the truth that person can't face. You're not the reason for their unhappiness. Their disconnection from authentic self is the reason. Their abandonment of personal purpose is the reason. Their choice to compare rather than create is the reason. This person exists in spiritual bankruptcy, not just lacking material resources, though that might be true, spiritually broke, energetically depleted, soulfully empty. And when observing you, seeing everything they're not becomes unbearable. Witnessing your abundance highlights their lack. Observing your clarity exposes their confusion. Watching your peace contrasts their chaos. Noting your purpose emphasizes their aimlessness. The tragedy of jealousy is its self-perpetuating nature. While watching you grow, your observer remains frozen. While monitoring your wins, losses accumulate for them. While tracking your blessings, blocking their own. Because every moment spent focused on your life is a moment not invested in their own. Every ounce of energy directed toward resenting you is energy unavailable for improving their situation. Every thought consumed by your success is a thought not creating their own. Your observer has essentially hired themselves to be your full-time critic, dedicating mental real estate to analyzing your life, investing emotional energy into resenting your progress, spending creative capacity on plotting your downfall, all while their own dreams gather dust, their own purpose sits dormant, their own potential remains unrealized. The irony is devastating. The person trying to stop your success has already stopped their own. This is the hidden cost of jealousy that your observer doesn't recognize. The price isn't just spiritual separation or karmic consequence. The price is the life unlived, the potential unrealized, the purpose abandoned, the destiny forfeited, all because someone chose comparison over creation, competition over collaboration, resentment over transformation. Someone in spiritual debt cannot give what they don't possess, cannot share what they haven't received, cannot celebrate what threatens their fragile ego, so attempts to diminish you become attempts to feel less diminished themselves. Efforts to block you become efforts to feel less blocked themselves. Strategies to trap you become desperate attempts to escape their own trap. Your light reminds them of their darkness. Your progress highlights their stagnation. Your freedom emphasizes their bondage. And rather than do the work to change their own situation, attacking you becomes easier than transforming themselves. An event approaches, a gathering of significance, an elegant setting where connections form and doors open. Picture upscale surroundings, tables dressed formally, atmosphere carrying weight, people of influence present, conversations holding consequence. This isn't casual socializing. This is where your genuine opportunity manifests in concrete form, where important people take notice, where significant doors swing open. Your observer knows about this event, might even attend, might even be planning something. Public embarrassment, calculated sabotage, orchestrated humiliation, designed to diminish you in front of people who matter. This fantasy has been playing in their mind, imagining the moment when you're exposed or reduced or made to look small in front of influential witnesses. I must interrupt this transmission for just a moment. Are you really chosen? Prove it. It's easy to watch videos about chosen ones. It's another thing to put yourself to the test. If you're still here, that means something, but talk is cheap. Real chosen ones take action. That's why I built Destiny Engine. It generates personalized sequences that help you rewire betrayal into transcendence, turn isolation into sacred power, and transform their downfall into your rise. We are using the Dark Elite's own weapons against them, taking their declassified consciousness technology that programmed competition and scarcity and repurposing it to serve divine justice. You put on the headphones, press play, and watch your enemies choke on the rope their own lies created. If you're done consuming and ready to prove you're chosen, start your Destiny Engine for $1 today. Join the Obsidian Inner Order live checks and watch divine justice accelerate in your life. Link in the description. But this imagined scenario will never materialize as planned. You'll enter that space with spiritual authority beyond their capacity to shake. You'll carry yourself with confidence beyond their ability to undermine. You'll be so protected, so guided, so covered, that their scheme dissolves before forming. Either you'll perceive the danger and avoid it completely, or you'll move through it so untouched that any attempt at sabotage backfires on its originator. Because you walk with guidance invisible to natural eyes, because protection surrounds you that physical senses cannot detect, because favor covers you that human strategy cannot overcome. When you enter that room, you don't enter alone. When you engage those conversations, you don't speak from personal wisdom only. When you make those connections, you don't rely on human charisma alone. Spiritual backing supports every step, divine intelligence informs every word, supernatural favor opens every door. This event becomes your launching pad rather than your downfall. These connections become your network rather than your trap. These conversations become your opportunities rather than your obstacles. And watching this unfold forces your observer to confront undeniable reality. You're not just surviving opposition, you're thriving despite it. You're not just avoiding traps, you're walking through them untouched. You're not just protected, you're promoted. Your creativity is about to experience massive expansion. Ideas will flood faster than execution can match. Inspiration will strike constantly, solutions will appear fully formed, projects will take shape rapidly. This is your season of creative abundance. The world is about to witness what you're genuinely capable of producing. This creative genius is what truly threatens your observer. Your originality, your unique expression, your authentic voice, your fresh perspective, your innovative approach. You have something that cannot be taught or copied or stolen. You carry a frequency that's entirely yours, an essence that's completely unique. A signature that's unmistakably authentic, and attempts will be made to replicate you, mimic your style, copy your approach, imitate your energy. But replication always falls short of originality. Imitation always lacks the soul of authenticity. Copying always misses the essence of genuine creation. What you have isn't technique, it's frequency. It's not method, it's spirit. It's not formula, it's authentic self-expression flowing through unique filters of your specific consciousness. So let attempts at copying happen, let efforts at mimicry unfold. Because every imitation just highlights your originality. Every copy just proves authenticity of the source. Every replication just demonstrates the uniqueness of genuine article. People who matter will recognize the difference. Opportunities aligned with your purpose will find you specifically. Doors designed for your unique frequency will open to you alone. This creative breakthrough connects to dreams from earlier in your life, desires from younger years, visions from past seasons, something you imagined, something you wanted, something you thought might be impossible. That seed planted long ago is now ready to sprout. The dream deferred is now ready to manifest. The hope delayed is now ready to materialize. Your younger self would be proud of who you're becoming. Your future self is already celebrating what you're about to create. Right now, you need to embrace strategic privacy, not disappearance, not hiding, just selective sharing. Your observer has been using your public updates to track your movements, using your posts to analyze your patterns, using your shares to predict your next steps. So temporarily pulling back from broadcasting every detail creates protection. Not everything needs public announcement. Not every project requires constant updates. Not every move demands immediate sharing. Create privately, build quietly, develop projects without running commentary, work in focused silence rather than performing for an audience. This doesn't mean you vanish completely. You still show up, you still create content, you still maintain presence. But you become more selective about what you reveal and when you reveal it. You share completed work rather than work in progress. You show finished products rather than every stage of development. You present destinations rather than documenting every step of the journey. When you finally emerge with what you've been building, it needs to carry undeniable impact, so refined it cannot be ignored, so powerful it cannot be dismissed, so authentic it cannot be replicated. That level of quality requires focused work, protected work, work shielded from external opinions and constant commentary. Build multiple projects simultaneously, have several pieces reaching completion together. Because when you step back into full visibility, the moment needs weight, the reveal needs significance, the presentation needs to demonstrate clearly and powerfully exactly what you're capable of producing. And your observer is going to be shocked. What seemed predictable becomes surprising. What appeared figured out becomes mysteriously ahead. What looked trackable becomes impossible to follow. Your emergence from strategic silence will carry such force that all previous doubts dissolve instantly. This observer might be closer than you initially thought, perhaps someone within your family system, maybe a relative who's watched your journey unfold, possibly someone who knows your history and has access to your updates. This proximity makes the situation more complex, because people close to you can inflict deeper wounds, can access more information, can create more convincing facades. Sometimes those nearest to us pose the greatest challenges, not always from pure malice, sometimes from immaturity, sometimes from jealousy that hasn't been acknowledged or processed, sometimes from competition that exists entirely in their imagination, wanting what you have while resenting the work you did to get it, desiring your blessings while rejecting the battles that shaped you, admiring your results while criticizing your process. Information might be leaking from your inner circle, your plans getting discussed, your moves being mentioned, your business being shared, not necessarily through calculated betrayal, perhaps just through casual conversation, maybe through venting frustrations, possibly through seeking validation. But regardless of motivation, information is traveling to places it shouldn't reach. Guard your energy even with those closest to you, not through paranoid suspicion, through wise discernment. Some information needs to stay between you and your spiritual guidance. Some plans need to remain private until execution. Some dreams need protection until manifestation. Not everyone can hold your vision with the care it requires. Not everyone can honor your journey with the respect it deserves. There's also spiritual blockage affecting your observer. Self-inflicted consequences from working against others, sending negative energy toward multiple targets, engaging in practices that violate spiritual principles, and now experiencing the natural result: diminished intuition, clouded discernment, severed connection to divine source, spiritual blindness resulting from spiritual violation. That's why attempts to block your vision happen. Spiritual poverty resents spiritual wealth. Disconnection envies connection. Blindness fears clear sight. Your observer wants you experiencing the same limitations currently defining their reality, wants you as confused as they feel, wants you as stuck as they've become. But your connection remains strong, your protection stays powerful. Your destiny continues unfolding regardless of their interference. We arrive now at the culminating truth, the forced recognition. The moment when denial becomes impossible. You're about to be presented with both opportunities simultaneously or in close succession. The false one will arrive with pressure and urgency. Rush to decide, hurry to commit, quick signatures required. That pressure is your warning signal. That urgency is your red flag. The genuine opportunity will feel different. Space to consider, time to evaluate, room to seek wisdom. Real blessings don't manipulate, authentic offers don't pressure, divine opportunities don't force premature commitment. So when pressure appears, you'll recognize the trap. When urgency demands, you'll see the deception. When someone rushes you, you'll know something's wrong, and you'll choose correctly. Your intuition will guide you toward truth. Your discernment will steer you away from deception. Your spiritual connection will illuminate the right path. You'll decline the trap. You'll accept the genuine blessing. You'll make the decision that aligns with your highest good. This correct choice will perplex your observer completely. Confusion will replace confidence. Bewilderment will override certainty. They were sure you'd fall for the deception, convinced you'd grab the bait, certain you'd walk into the trap. Your ability to discern truth from lies, genuine from fake, blessing from trap forces acknowledgement of what they've been denying. You're not just talented, you're anointed. You're not just creative, you're chosen. You're not just fortunate, you're divinely guided. You're a spiritual mastermind. And watching you make the correct choice, avoid the carefully laid trap, step into authentic blessing destroys their comfortable narrative completely. The genuine opportunity will require substantial work, daily dedication, consistent effort, real commitment, but it will be fulfilling work, energizing rather than draining, purpose-aligned rather than soul-crushing. You'll wake up motivated, feel passionate about what you're building, experience joy in the process. This is what happens when work matches calling. As you step into this new reality, public recognition follows. Your work gets seen by influential people. Your gift gets acknowledged by important voices. Your influence expands beyond previous boundaries. That elegant event becomes your platform. Those meaningful conversations open significant doors. Those new connections create powerful opportunities. And you'll handle success with wisdom. Remain humble despite elevation. Stay grateful despite abundance. Keep grounded despite recognition. Because you understand that pride blocks continued blessing. Arrogance prevents sustained favor. Ego limits ongoing growth. Your humility in success will confuse your observer even more. They expected achievement to corrupt you, assumed success would make you arrogant, believed blessing would change you negatively. But spiritual masterminds understand that gratitude multiplies blessings, humility attracts favor, groundedness sustains elevation. Your observer will watch all of this unfold, watch you succeed despite their opposition, watch you rise despite their attacks, watch you flourish despite their interference. And this observation forces final acknowledgement, not spoken aloud, not admitted publicly, but internally undeniable. You're operating on frequencies beyond their access, moving with wisdom beyond their understanding, protected by forces beyond their comprehension, and this recognition becomes your complete victory, not because you need their validation, but because their forced acknowledgement proves what you've always known internally. You're not ordinary, you're not common, you're not average, you're chosen, you're anointed, you're protected, you're guided, you're a spiritual mastermind. Their hatred changed nothing about your trajectory. Their jealousy affected nothing about your destiny. Their opposition accomplished nothing except proving your power. They tried to dim your light. It burned brighter. They tried to block your path. It opened wider. They tried to stop your blessing. It multiplied faster. Every attack strengthened you. Every trap taught you. Every opposition elevated you. That's what happens when you come against someone divinely protected. Human opposition becomes divine opportunity. Earthly resistance becomes heavenly promotion. Natural warfare becomes supernatural victory. So walk forward into this new season with complete confidence, your head high, your spirit strong, your faith unshakable, because you just won a war your observer didn't know was already decided. You just dominated opposition while functioning from a frequency where attacks couldn't reach you. You just proved that spiritual mastery isn't about fighting, it's about elevation. It's not about warfare, it's about frequency. It's not about defeating enemies, it's about ascending beyond their range. That's the power of being chosen. That's the reality of divine protection. That's the result of spiritual mastery. You don't fight your way to the top, you rise to a frequency where opposition becomes irrelevant, where hatred becomes ineffective, where jealousy becomes pointless. You ascend to a level where you're so protected, so guided, so blessed that attempting to stop you becomes as absurd as trying to prevent sunrise. Your observer just learned this lesson, just acknowledged this truth, just admitted this reality internally. You're a spiritual mastermind, and this forced recognition is destroying them while elevating you. Their acknowledgement becomes your confirmation. Their forced respect becomes your validation. Their internal admission becomes your external proof. You turned their hatred into fuel for your fire, their attacks into lessons for your growth, their traps into triumphs for your testimony. That's what spiritual masterminds do. Transform opposition into opportunity. Convert warfare into wisdom, change attacks into advancements. Or you didn't just survive, you dominated. You didn't just win, you ascended. You didn't just succeed, you demonstrated what divine protection looks like in action. And as you move forward, remember this moment. Remember when forced acknowledgement came. Remember when denial became impossible. Remember when your observer had to admit what you are. Because that recognition wasn't just about you winning, it was about everyone watching learning. It was about the universe demonstrating what happens when you oppose someone divinely covered. You're a spiritual mastermind. What happens when you oppose someone divinely covered? You're a spiritual mastermind. You always have been, you always will be, and now even your enemies know it. Even your observers acknowledge it. Even your opposition admits it. They hate this truth for you. They hate that you're untouchable. They hate that you're unstoppable. They hate that you're anointed. But their hatred is just more proof of your power, more evidence of your calling, more confirmation of your destiny. The game is over. The acknowledgement is complete. The truth is undeniable. You're a spiritual mastermind, and absolutely nothing can change that reality. This acknowledgement your observer was forced to make becomes a permanent marker in your spiritual journey, a confirmation that you've reached a frequency where even enemies become witnesses to your power, where even opposition serves as testimony to your anointing, where even jealousy functions as proof of your elevation. You didn't have to prove yourself. You didn't have to defend yourself. You didn't have to argue your worth, or demonstrate your value, or validate your significance. You simply lived in your truth, walked in your purpose, moved in your power. and that authentic expression of who you are became undeniable evidence of what you are, a spiritual mastermind, divinely guided, supernaturally protected, cosmically favored. And now you move forward carrying this confirmation, not as arrogance, not as pride, but as certainty, as knowledge, as unshakable truth. You know who you are, you know what you carry, you know where you're going, and nothing anyone thinks or says or does can alter that reality. Your path is set, your destiny is secure, your blessing is guaranteed. Walk forward in complete confidence. Your spiritual mastery has been acknowledged even by those who wished they could deny it.